Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kennedy, and today I'm going to be talking about your Monster High crack ships. It's been about 1 full year since I first discussed Monster High ships on this channel, so thank you for a year of hilarious discussions. I can't believe how many ships I've been ignoring all this time, and it's funny to see how my rules have evolved from then to now due to your requests. So what are these new and evolved rules in question? Rule number 1, a character can only be mentioned in a ship up to 3 times. Rule number 2, I bias first generation lore, but I am open to discussing ships within 2nd and 3rd gen as well. Rule number 3, a lot of ships are going to be queer-centric and polycule friendly, and all of the ships mentioned today are requested by you guys. Our 4th and final rule is that I will not be discussing ships that are possible incest or unjustifiable age gaps. But before we fully get into it, if you like the video, let it be known and subscribe to see more videos that you like. Without further ado, let's dive in. Kiyomi Haunterly and Jackie Laura. Kiyomi is a faceless ghost who attends Haunted High, but she falls in love with Monster High through Jackie Laura. And Jackie Laura, as most of us know, is a super cute and lovable vampire. According to some of my internet findings, Kiyomi does canonically have a crush on Jackie Laura, which is so cute, and it's very evident in the movie Haunted when Kiyomi essentially takes a bullet for Jackie Laura. Jackie Laura, she's going to be sentenced to detention, but Kiyomi just took the detention chain for her. How romantic is that?
No! I don't even have a face!
However, every time I try to ship Jackie Laura with anybody but Claude, I just can't do it. Not only because I love Jackie Laura and Claude, but I also don't see her having romantic chemistry with anyone else. In the case of Kiyomi and Jackie Laura, it's undeniable that Kiyomi really likes her, and Jackie Laura is also nice to her because it's in her nature, but I don't think it's because she likes her back. I can't lie and say that I don't see the potential that the fandom sees, but this ship is just too one-sided for me. Sink it. Next we have Heath Burns and Luna Matthews. This ship is pretty interesting, and it's shocking that I haven't thought about it until right now. Luna Matthews is a moth. Shocker. Who dreams of being a Bloodway actress. And Heath Burns is a fire boy who doesn't know that he's gay yet. I've never seen them interact, so I'll have to take what I know and go from there. I think the concept of Luna being attracted to Heath is pretty cute because, moths love fire and light. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Heath, I think it would be really fun to see him in a relationship with someone who's just a little obsessed with him. Naturally, my fanfiction brain is being triggered by this dynamic. So, Heath was always made the butt of the joke. He wasn't very respected by his peers. His crush on Abby was publicly one-sided. Heath longed for approval, for acceptance, and he found the perfect opportunity when a pretty moth transferred to Monster High. So, he introduced himself, showing off his head of flames. The moth introduced herself as Luna and didn't leave his side. That one's a little creepy, but if you know me and you've been watching these, you know that I don't wish well on Heath. Ship it. Ooh, ooh. This one got me excited because my costume is in it. Cleo Denial of the Denials and Claudine Wolf. I think this ship is mostly based on 3rd gen. I hardly ever see fan art or fan edits of Claudine in 1st gen or 2nd gen art forms and art styles. It might be because their feisty attitudes don't mix very well, and they can be seen throwing shade at each other from time to time.
Very friendly. Cleo, you don't look very friendly.
So hot, and you see you got skills in the bedroom. You try to flirt when you're so mad. Had a chance, you still never come through. You see.
But in 3rd gen, Cleo Denial is still a very popular Egyptian princess mummy, and Claudine is a werewolf human who's new to Monster High. They're also both main characters. I had to brush up on my 3rd gen lore in order to understand the appeal, so I watched a few episodes. Claudine is essentially trying to come out to her dad, and Cleo is there for emotional support. Now, tell me when the last time you've seen Cleo doing anything for emotional support. I'll wait.
You're just saying that to make me feel better.
When was the last time you heard me say something to make anyone feel better?
But in these shorts, Cleo is so good at supporting Claudine, and saying that it's okay if she still needs time to come out about her identity. It's actually really cool to see.
I can't tell my dad. Monster stuff is easy, but human heart stuff is way harder. I'm a serious scaredy pup right now.
Claudine, the last few weeks have been big for you. And if you need time, you need time. And that's fine. So chill.
Thanks, Cleo.
Emotional support done. Now back to me and my impending popularity.
I can definitely see why people ship these characters, and Cleo's personality might have made me an official 3rd Gen stan. Ship it! Claudine Wolfe and Jennifer Long. Claudine ships are no stranger to this channel. We've discussed many different pairings over the last year. Claudine is a fashionable werewolf and Jennifer is a fashionable dragon. They are both committed to becoming famous designers, and they met in Scaris for Monatella Gaustier's fashion designer boot camp. Jennifer was very serious about her craft and a fierce competitor.
Hey, Jen, to be looking at this. Relax, I was just admiring it. This is a competition, not supposed to be helping competitors.
But she expressed concern for Claudine when she noticed that she was sacrificing her own style to suit Monatella's.
To see you now saddens me. No, I can't. She has to be right. I'm just a nobody with a chance to become somebody. Why do you design? Well, who you really are or who Madame wants you to be?
She also transferred to Monster High directly after meeting and working with Claudine.
Yes. Do they take exchange students?
It's very clear that Claudine has a lot of respect for Jennifer's work ethic and talent, and I think they're such a great pair. However, I do find myself conflicted. On one hand, such a beautiful thing to see two ghouls with the same passions chasing their dreams together. On the other hand, the fashion industry is very competitive and cutthroat. Jennifer stood behind Claudine at the end of Scaris in an act of solidarity.
Be honored to help such an original designer.
But she won't always want to be in Claudine's shadow. Hear me out. WLW sweethearts to academic rivals trope. Let's go. Claudine and Jennifer graduate from Monster High and go to the same fashion institute. They drive each other, motivate each other. They're both the top students in the class. But Jennifer is number 2. Jennifer tries to cope with being second place, but she can't. She breaks up with Claudine, claiming to focus on her studies. In reality, she just wanted to compete for the top spot without hurting her girlfriend. This type of trope would cause them to break up naturally, but I do see them coming together in their old age after they've achieved all of their fashion designer dreams. Ship it. I ship it, but it's on rocky waters for sure. Elizabeth and Rebecca Steam. I'm screaming! Elizabeth is a vampire actress and Rebecca is a steampunk robot. I did have to do an age check on these two, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Elizabeth is 1601 years old and Rebecca is 116 years old, which is a convoluted way to say that they're both 16. This ship most definitely comes from the events of Fright's Camera Action. Draculaura and the ghouls go on an adventure to find the true vampire queen using the vampire's heart. On the journey, they find out that Rebecca's heart is the vampire's heart, and it leads them to Elizabeth. How very interesting. This premise is already a lot to unpack, but I'll keep it brief. This is gay. This is really, really gay. Not many things are gayer than vampires, but being built for a heart that calls and longs for another is a little gayer than vampires, I fear. But despite what we know about their connection, they actually don't interact much in this movie, which leads me to believe that there's not as much natural chemistry as we might think.
To your father, Hezekiah Steam. To me, Lord Stoker, for your crimes.
And given that Elizabeth is not only a queen, but she's also an actress, she might want to be with someone with the same social status as her. Or the comment that introduced this ship to me also mentioned Hoodooed, because he was Elizabeth's date to her own coronation.
Would you honor me by being my date?
Making the three of them a throuple. Also in the comment, they mention a headcanon that Rebecca, Elizabeth, and Hoodooed are all asexual. I can totally see that because why would a robot have such attraction or feelings towards anyone? Hoodooed is more likely hyper-romantic and asexual. And do you see Elizabeth's killer color scheme? That's definitely a subtle early 2010s ace rep. Fun fact, I love a fun fact, Rebecca and Hoodoo are both adopted by the same person, a teacher at Monster High named Miss Kindergrubber.
I'm good.
What are you doing here?
So I don't really ship the two, they can kind of be considered like foster siblings. But anyways, I tussled with the decision between Elizabeth and Rebecca, but ship it. Why the hell not? Next we have Frankie Stein and Gigi Grant. This is one of the many examples of Monster High fans shipping Frankie with literally anybody. Frankie Stein is a Frankenmonster who is about 15 days old. She's still learning about Monster High and the rest of the world, despite being really smart. Gigi Grant is a genie who was just freed from her lantern, and now she attends Monster High as a regular student. The most interaction I've seen between Frankie and Gigi was in the 13 Wishes movie, where they have to work together to stop Howleen and Wisp from essentially destroying Monster High. In this movie, we're introduced to Gigi, who is really shy and sweet, but also very nervous because of Wisp. Frankie is quick to console her and assure her that everything will be just fine.
Sisters. We drifted apart. Oh, I get that. But I always pull it together.
But Frankie tends to do this with all of her friends. I don't think there's anything special or romantic about these interactions. And Frankie has been quite flirty with a lot of characters, especially male students. But my headcanon is that she just likes to get to know people because it fascinates her. Same with Gigi. Interesting pair, but I'm gonna have to sink it. Ari Huntington and Cat Noir. The singers. I don't have much to say about this ship, so I'll keep it short. Ari Huntington is a ghost singer who was introduced in Gen 2 and rumored to be the replacement for Spectra because they have very similar designs. And Cat Noir is a famous pop star werecat from Gen 1. Aesthetically, these two are... Oh my god, I did that last time. Aesthetically, these two are really cute together. I just can't get over how they both remind me of Ariana Grande for different reasons. Anyways, I don't see them being romantically compatible, but I would like to hear them on a track together, just for Catty to eat up Ari. Sink it. Last and certainly not least, Toly Stripe and Mouseides. Toly Stripe is a werecat and the main antagonist of the franchise. Mouseides is obviously a monster mouse. Duh, who was introduced to sell dolls from the Bujork line. Toly spent the majority of her time in Bujork being an errand kitty for Nephra, and Mouseides spent most of her screen time acting as a navigator for the main ghouls in Bujork. They are both assistants to the more interesting characters in the story, but they have opposing motives.
Get rid of this! Wow, it's a deal.
It's a deal?
I saw Nephra give something to Torlight. I bet she has the comet crystal.
On one hand, I say sink it because they just wouldn't like each other's lifestyle. On the other hand, I can see both of these socialite ghouls getting along at some point. It'll probably be a love-hate dynamic, similar to Toly and Claudine, who are shipped by the fandom and are now together. Ew, I'll say ship it. Wow, what an interesting mix of ghouls that you guys gave me. I can't believe that this is the 4th installment of this series and it's nowhere near over. These are always so much fun to make, and it's even more fun to see your ships, your headcanons, and your response to everything. Oh, peep the fit! Cleo denial of the denial is in effect. Hello? My friend was like, do you need this? I was like, I don't wear gold. But you know who does? Cleo, so I copped it. I found this scarf at Goodwill and I like wrapped it around. And then this wig is an Egyptian wig that I've got from Target a really long time ago. And then I weaved some tinsel in the scalp of the wig. This headband was I cut off like the bottom of this dress and I wrapped it around this headband that I already had. And I glued these gems on that I found at Michael's, and also from the bottom of the dress are like this wrap to act as like mummy wraps. Like, shopping for Cleo is not easy and a lot of it is DIY, but it has been very fun and I'm glad that it all came together in this way. But for even more unhinged talks and discussions, come join me on my live streams. I host Kin's Canopy every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We game, we chat, we have a good time. It gets pretty fun. It's it's pretty cool and interesting if I do say so myself, and I think that you should check it out if you have the time. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. This was Kennedy. Bye!